Hello! I think I'm streaming. Always hard to tell. Lena is checking on the other screen to see if I popped up, and I've got the thumbs up. We're live, and I've hacked the system. Okay, what am I working on today? Is it more Swamper Soul stuff? I'm sorry to tell you that it's not. I need a break. So I'm working on a little one-shot adventure that I've had in my head for a very long time that I want to bring to life. And now the beauty of it, don't go, the beauty of it is that I want to play it with you guys. So I've set up a Discord, and I'm hoping that people who want to play this one shot, help me play test it, help me play test other stuff, will join the Discord. I'll put it in the chat here, but I'm also going to put it in the description. Go to the D&D part of that Discord, the D&D channel, and just write, yep, I'm keen to play test. And then when I'm ready, I'll hunt you all down and find out the best time to test out this one shot, which is going to be a brutal one shot for first level characters, where you'll probably die many times and keep rolling first level characters till you survive the night, and we see which heroes come out of it, which stories we tell. So let me tell you a little bit about it. This is what this video is for. What I'm doing at the moment is setting up just a visual representation of the area. It's a town known as Wildgate. Wildgate's in my world of Winter's Edge. It's the northernmost town of human civilization. It's a frontier town where adventurers gather before they push on to the savage lands of the wilds, which sit to the north. Now, Wildgate, it's a town where adventurers gather, trying to catch the eye of powerful and rich patrons that will sponsor these expeditions. These patrons have all sorts of resources at hand, or rumors of where lost cities are and lost treasures, and even fallen gods might rest, where there were huge battles between humans and frost giants, and where artifacts still might be found, where dragons fell from the sky. So adventurers have to gather here hoping to earn the favor of these patrons, because otherwise they'll just wander the wilds lost and aimless, and it's a dangerous, savage place, frozen over, so that you need to know where you're going and what you want to do and where the shelter is. So that brings us back to Wildgate here, which is basically the gateway into the wilds. And so you've come here looking to secure a patron. You're only first level. You haven't made a name for yourself. You're probably not very impressive. You've rocked up with a crew, and now you'll find yourself sitting in the tavern known as the Overlook. And the Overlook is called that because it sits right on the edge of the town, overlooking this massive chasm that disappears into wintry fog at the bottom. So you're here in this tavern. You're pretty downhearted. You haven't been able to get a patron, and you realize, why would they take you? There's some big names here, some big named heroes. They have a lot of talent, and you've turned up with your crew, and you're surrounded by other low-level adventurers also, all thinking they were going to secure work here. They're all sitting in this tavern too. Most of them look as despondent as you. It's a very big tavern still. We'll make it a bit smaller because the entire town of Wildgate sits on this rock pillar, erupting from a valley that is known as Sword Drag Valley. Because apparently an ancient god walked past here dragging his sword behind him and left that, if you believe that. So, you're sitting in this tavern, thinking of your next move. How do you get a patron? How are you going to be an adventurer? Because even to cross this bridge into the northern wilds that rest way out there, you need a patron pass. They just don't let anyone walk through. There's a drawbridge here and a massive, there's going to be a sort of castle gate tower here. Right here. I have this because this is the only way the evil from the north, the monsters, can get across to the civilized lands here, which is known as Winter's Edge. The small, savage bit of coastline that the humans cling to. So there's human settlements all around here. Used to be human settlements all up here, but a huge wall of ice engulfed them and basically stopped right at the valley. Of course, this coast is way bigger. Way out here to the waters here. So human settlements all along here. And this, just plains of ice for as far as the eye can see. And there's buried cities and towns under there. Lost caves that have been iced over. Anyway, how does this involve you, measly little first level guys? Well, what happens this night, this one-shot adventure, is some poor fool came into this town, Wildgate. This actually, what I'm about to describe to you, actually happened in my campaign. And then all of this grew from just the act of one of the party members. He had a ring of mind shielding. He was given that as a gift. And there was a trapped soul in it. Trapped soul seemed like quite a nice guy and just wanted to be resurrected. He didn't want to pass on. And this player, because I thought this would be a cool quest, you know, help this guy out. What I actually didn't tell him though was this guy was actually a trapped elder god known as the Bone Lord. Extremely bad person. And I thought, at some point he'll help release the guy. And then they have to deal with this elder god they've released into the world. So it was going to happen at some point, but what I didn't realize what he would do is he went straight to the nearest magic shop in Wildgate, one owned by a power-hungry goblin necromancer known as Bones, and sold him this ring just to get cash. He was given it as a gift and he sold it almost immediately as he got it, and thought, that's sorted out, got rid of that. And then they actually did manage to get a patron, because they did really well in the arena fights here. And actually, when I say really well, they killed a beloved healer in the arena, an old gnomish lady known as Betty the White. And so that made them pretty infamous pretty straight away. But one of the patrons thought any advertising is good advertising and took these guys on thinking, I'll send them out into the wilds, they'll get killed, I'll look great for getting them killed, because everyone in Wildgate hated them. So he sent them off on this impossible quest, which they managed to do. So they went off not knowing, you know, they think, I've just sold this ring to this power-hungry necromancer, who straight away recognized the power in the ring. He was hungry for it. And so while they were gone, he decided he was going to release the soul and try and snare it, capture it, subject it to his will and bind it to him so he can finally have the power he thinks he's deserved. That went horribly wrong, of course, when you mess with the Elder Gods, and the Bone Lord possessed instead the little goblin known as Bones. And so in Wildgate, suddenly there was this convergence of power as this Elder God suddenly walked amongst us. Now, there were powerful heroes, of course, in Wildgate, and they felt the footsteps of a god walking through their town. It wasn't hard to miss. Bone Lord rose into the air, this little goblin glowing green with necromantic energy, necrotic energy, and doing what the Bone Lord does, he begins to raise the dead. Now, the interesting thing about Wildgate is it's been here for a few centuries, and the way people here bury the dead is they have a nice little ceremony on the edge of the pillar and then throw them off into the bottomless void that isn't so bottomless. That's been going on for centuries. There's even, you know, bones of long dead giants, fallen dragons, everything down the bottom there. All conveniently ignored because you can't see it. Sort of like how humans react today to things. So with the Bone Lord's presence, these undead arise. First, the party will notice of it, being in this little tavern known as the Overlook, is there is a skeleton of a dragon in the Overlook hanging from the ceiling by chains. It's not a huge ancient dragon skeleton, it's probably a very young one to fit in this tavern, but it's always been a feature. And they'll notice it starts twitching. That's the first thing. Then the people out on the balcony, out here, there's going to be balconies on the Overlook, looking down. They'll start to notice things scrambling up the sides of this pillar. And that's how it starts, the Night of the Dead. And all you have to do as a lowly level 1 is survive the night. And that's going to be involving so much random cutscenes, events, decisions over the night that I'm sure many will die and characters will be re-rolled, new characters. That suddenly the story jumps from what we thought was the focus, this group of adventurers, to another group of low-level adventurers that witness that original group getting wiped out by some magical means or hordes of undead. And then the story shifts to them. Or maybe only a few of the original party survive and then come across other adventurers who replace the ones that were lost, keeping this momentum going. There's going to be decisions made. Do they help powerful adventurers take on some of the Bone Lord's dark champions? Might help turn the tide. Just these small, rather ineffective first level guys. It might be just what's needed to start turning the tide. Or do they just run to survive and leave these high level heroes to cope with it? And that again might be enough to give the dark champions the chance to wipe out some of the great heroes of Winter's Edge. Of course, if you do choose to try help these heroes in this high stakes power game, you know, one wrong move, an axe from a giant undead champion landing on your first level guy will be the end of you. I'm not doing death saving throws. I don't like the 3 death saving throw system. Instead, when you're reduced to 0, you'll roll on my special death table, and you might die instantly. You might die, go unconscious in a coma. You might be just knocked out and come to in 1 to 4 rounds with an injury that even low-level healing hasn't healed, like a broken leg or a noticeable scar. Let me show you what I've been putting together so far as I just muck around with Wildgate. I have started with, the idea is you're going to just create a character randomly and have to deal with it. So you're going to roll first 1d8, see your race, 1d12, see your class, first level. I've put in over 100 different personality types. You're going to roll 3 of those. You get to choose which one's your prominent one. You might be aggressive, which I spelt wrong. Maybe, is the 2 G's. You might be frivolous, you might be bold, you might be secretive, driven. You're going to get 3, which will shape your character. And so you're going to try role play accordingly to what their personality's like. I've included a few quirks that you'll roll on, 20 quirks that could affect the way you play and interact with teammates. You might be as fastidious as not being able to resist correcting poor grammar. You might be one of these ones, a young adventurer that's very conscious of your brand, and you're going for a certain look and trying to drop catchphrases as befits a hero. Maybe you're a literal thinker and you struggle with sarcasm and metaphors, which could go horribly wrong when people are shouting out orders or trying to be funny. Yeah, so we've got a list of those. See your starting equipment. Usually it's just going to be the standard D&D gear you get. We want to be able to make characters quickly, because when you die, if you die, your next character will join the party in the next round of events, which we call cycles. 8 cycles. 3 events happen per cycle, like every 20 minutes. Cutscene of you running through the city, this happens. How do you deal with it? Here's my death rolls I've been working on. Roll a 1 to 30, you get yourself an instant death. 31 to 40, you're going to bleed out on your next turn, which leads to death. So it gives people a chance to try and get a heal potion or something in you. If you have a heal potion, you'll be finding equipment as you run around the town. You'll be finding dead adventurers who have already been killed that you might loot and grab whatever's on them, trying to get yourself powerful enough to survive the night. And there's a lot here that if you're unconscious and you recover 1 hit point here, you then roll on the damage table. You might have an ankle sprain, you might have an eardrums burst, so you're deafened, all sorts of little injuries that you might be carrying with you that are going to accumulate. There was something cool I wanted to say as well. Yeah, even if you go on the death table, there's a very small chance. If you roll a natural, sorry, that should be a natural 97 or 98, you find out you've got a berserker bloodline in you. You rage up, get your second win, recover hit points, temporary hit points, and that night you gain a level of barbarian, which is going to be huge. You'll be second level then. And there will be a chance that if you survive long enough through the cycles, you might even level up to second level before you die. What if you roll a natural 99 or 100? I'm going to say a forgotten god intervenes and will raise you if you agree to serve him. And you're fully healed and you gain 1 level of cleric or paladin. So that'll be fun. The idea is it's going to be fun. It's not too grim. It's going to be these poor little pawns in the big leagues with massive battles going on all around them, and they're just trying to keep their head down, survive, do a little bit to turn the tide, and maybe make a name for themselves. So it started out the opening act, which is going to happen in the tavern with the dragon starting to twitch, things coming over the wall. Then we're going to go into the night. And there's, as I said, there's going to be cycles. 8 cycles, which is basically an hour per cycle. 3 events per cycle. And they can include encounters, scenes, a cutscene, dilemmas, or a discovery. You might find a safe house you can hide in for half a cycle before monsters start to find you. Things like that. And what I'm going to do, this is all rough, this part at the moment. So if you see stuff here that doesn't make sense, it's because it probably doesn't. But I'm going to have a theme per cycle as well. You know, the 8 cycles that you have. It might be in one cycle, the adventurers, the heroes are pushing back. So different things will happen. You roll on this to see what each cycle is going to be. Might be hope blooms. I don't even know what that means yet, but that's a hero makes a huge sacrifice. Dark hunters are released, so suddenly there's a chance that these dark champions are running through the city. A god intervenes. Dragon, there's going to be an undead dragon that's flying over town, dropping lightning blasts throughout. And then, yeah, see who gets to the final cycle. Could be an adventurer, could be your 5th, 4th, 10th one you've rolled. Finally gets through to the end of the night. And then we'll see how well you did. There's going to be a measuring thing to say either if you defeat the Bone Lord, which is going to be very rare. It's going to be hard to defeat the Bone Lord. What happened in my campaign is he destroyed most of Wildgate and then took his undead army north into the lost cities that are buried under ice to claim their souls of all the citizens trapped there and build up his armies, and the party eventually had to get strong enough to take them on, which still hasn't happened yet. So that'll be very rare. It'll be if you as your little guys actually succeed in some very tricky events and help powerful heroes maybe escort them the length of an alleyway against big mobs for him to release the last powerful spell he has. Things like that. Maybe you drive off the Bone Lord and survive the night. So still a great number of adventurers fall, and many of the hopefuls are wiped out. And so what this whole thing happens, the Bone Lord either departs after almost wiping out the town, which is what happened with us, or if you guys don't help at all, or everything goes horribly wrong, dice rolls go really wrong, everyone in the town is slaughtered and destroyed. No one survives. Great heroes are wiped out. Patrons are wiped out. The town is razed, and the Bone Lord then carries on his trek. Now, what that actually means is you're either going to be left with a low-level party, and there might be some patrons still sticking around now, and there's suddenly a career gap where a lot of the talent that they had, a lot of the heroes that they had, have been destroyed. And so reluctantly, they're going to look at your young party and say, okay, we'll take you guys on, we've got work, but we just don't have the talent anymore. And even if everyone's wiped out, including the patrons, then you can make your own new characters and hear of this from a distance and journey to Wildgate to help rebuild it, and take on the adventurers in the wild. So yeah, that's basically what I'm working on at the moment. I thought I'd just jump in, ramble about it, give everyone an idea of what I'm going to do. And yeah, if you're keen, if you want to be part of that, and you're okay with dying quite a bit and rolling really weird characters that might be out of your comfort zone to play, go to the Discord. As I say, it's in the chat there, and I'll put it in the description of this video. Go into the D&D channel and say, I'm keen to play. I'm going to keep building this, keep talking about it, and we'll gather a crew so I can run it. And we'll probably also run it live, stream it like this with the Discord, and see if we can capture some funny moments, funny storytelling. And we can do it several times, because I'm hoping every time will be like completely different, with the amount of events I want to come up with, the amount of random happenings, and of course the amount of really off the wall and different heroes that are going to be created. Well, not heroes, first level newbies. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl at the moment and quite enjoying the premise of that. I love the idea of, I really enjoy Stephen Erickson, Book of the Malazan Fallen and stuff, where you've got these soldiers just trying to survive as gods and powerful wizards and everything fight all around them, and they're, you know, just trying to stay alive as a unit. So I want to try capture some of that. So thank you for listening to this one. I'm going to go away and keep working, and I'll just, as I do some, I'm going to do some art for it as well. And I'll just keep talking and seeing if I can gather enough people